Tony Ferguson said that he might want to do his next fight at 170 pounds. What do you think? We're probably a little bit too early to be pushing Tony into anything, right? Tony's never been knocked out. Is that true? And some things get called a knockout even though you weren't knocked out. There's ways to be knocked out where you're wide awake. I mean, just take boxing, by example. They count to 10. Okay, it's a knockout. This is very different. This was a literal knockout. So what do? I like the idea of taking some time. I think we are going to take some time. I always like the idea, health-wise, of going up in weight. I just prefer that because I got to do it. I'll just tell you, my life was better when I got to go up in weight. Now, marketing, I don't think there's a question. That is always the first thing that I turn to. When you have a star who gets in a jam, which is his record, which is his recent contest, which is his placing, which is his drive, which is what do I do within this division? I'm ranked X, but I should be because I fought all these other guys in front of me and they won. So there's not really a way to leapfrog them. Oh, by the way, there's not really an opportunity to get rematches with them. And if I don't prove that I can beat them, I can't get to where I want to go, which is the championship, right? I mean, you're in this really hard spot. Great. Easy way to solve the problem. Change weight classes, fresh coat of paint. Fresh coat of paint. You haven't fought those guys. They haven't proved that they're better than you. You won't have a ranking, but you still matter. You can climb it very quickly. All right. Whether that happens or not, the principles and the theory still exist. Now, if Tony was to go to 170 pounds and I have a magic wand, what do I do with him? Boom, Nate Diaz. Solve the problem right away. That would be a very big fight. That would be an interesting fight. That would be a nostalgic fight. Like, that would serve all of the boxes for what we wanted to see as fans. We don't get those very often. Like, we don't have fun within the sport very often. We do things that are very meaningful and very consequential to guys' careers, but also within the rankings. So I don't know that I'm bullish in predicting for you that we would get it. Before you think my matchmaking was lazy, I could put anybody against Nate, and it's going to be a big deal. Well, okay, I will concede back, sure, that's true, because my next suggestion would be Masvidal. So I concede back that I'm just taking huge, put him in there with Conor McGregor. Okay, I got it. But there is something where those matches actually, aside from the obvious, make a level of sense that do, and I like the word nostalgia. I've been trying to get Dominic Cruz and Jose Aldo to say each other's name for a period of time, but I was also in the WEC with both of them. It's one of those things. And if you like Nate Diaz, and I know that you do, then you have to like Tony Ferguson. But if you like Tony Ferguson, and I know you do, you have to like Nate Diaz. They're the same guy. It's the same style. It's that same cardio. It's that same anybody. It's that same rugged. It's that same no apologies. It's that same I'm dangerous as hell on my feet, and I grew up on the ground. They're the same guy. I do think that's a really interesting match. I also know that Nate, preference-wise, sooner rather than later, and my own words to you a moment ago were that Tony needs to take a period of time. He needs to take a break. Now, I might not get that. But when I do tell you that he needs to, that's not just because of what we saw in the obvious. When you are knocked out, something automatically clicks in with the commission. I don't know what that is. I believe it's 6 months. I believe in the event of a knockout, you are automatically suspended for 180 days. Which there is a caveat with the doctor's note can be expedited a little bit. But I just share with you there is going to be a brief or a bit of a timeout session. Overall, I like the idea. I like him up at 170 pounds. He's more right than he knows in terms of putting the taxation on his body. Guys that live in that space, and Tony has only lived in this space of 155 cut weight. He was a wrestler before that, cut weight. For every competition, you're cutting weight. Tony famously cut weight and weighed in for a fight with Khabib that ended up not happening. He knew it wasn't going to happen, and he made the weigh in anyway. I mean, this is just the life that he knows is what I'm sharing with you. So Tony really doesn't fully understand how much he is going to enjoy it. You go have 3 fights a year, a normal fighter schedule, very in line with the history of Tony Ferguson. Well, you've really got 6. You have 6 fights. Beating that scale is one hell of a thing. Beating that scale takes a ton of work. It takes a ton of preparation. It is a very meaningful and decisive outcome should you succeed versus should you fail. It's a fight. It's a battle. and the mental side that goes into getting that weight off, when you can just put that mental and that physical energy into something else known as a sport, guys tend to do better. There is a belief that is extremely unique to America. It is not the belief throughout the Eastern Bloc, for sure. It is not the belief throughout the rest of the world. And I bring that to you from a freestyle, from a Greco-Roman, from a boxing standpoint of some of these sports that are done globally that have a weigh-in prior to contesting the event. It's only North Americans that cut weight. The other guys go at what they weigh. They might pull off a couple of kilograms the day of, but they weren't starving and dieting and dehydrating before it. It's one of those things. It's really an American phenomenon. And I really do believe that historically, the proof and the numbers and statistics towards guys who do better when they don't cut weight is better. I think Tony's going to do better. That's all I'm suggesting for you. We do like 170 pounds. Parity's fun. Parity with our stars is a whole nother level of fun. And you start to run out of it with a guy that's in a division that he's been at, competed at, dominated at, taken a regular schedule at for the better part of a decade. I love the idea of 170. I want people to encourage him. We don't have to go as far as I did. We don't have to start bringing in Nate and Masvidal. We don't have to start doing that. But I do think it would be very wise for guys in that division to start trying to align themselves, start to play this game a little bit. I've watched Dustin Poirier over the last week begging for a fight. He called out everybody under the sun. He's done it at 2 different weight classes. He's even said a date, and he said anybody. I didn't see people taking him up on that. I just didn't. Did it happen and I missed it? Probably. There was probably somebody somewhere. Did you think he was being insincere? Have you ever seen Dustin Poirier be insincere? Have you ever seen Dustin Poirier come out and be brash? Have you ever seen Dustin Poirier come out and make claims that he didn't go back up? He got very specific, including the date. Nobody jumped on it. It just, to me, seems like a real missed opportunity.